These walls can talk. Open your mind and listen.
Trailing down these hollow halls, can you hear me? Staring down these story walls, can you see me?
Well, hello everybody out there in the internet land, whatever we want to call it. This is an episode of the Dark Side number 9. And I don't know how abbreviated it's going to be tonight. I want to start off by saying wives are wonderful. I love my wife. My wife is very important to me. However, what she is a brewing pile of sickness, at least this week. So she managed to give me a flu, and I've got it, and I canceled teaching my martial arts classes and my guitar lessons and my hangout nights and everything else. And, well, the only people that get to enjoy me sick are you. So hopefully you can bear by me, okay? And we'll go over some things. I thought it was appropriate for me to come on here. I haven't been on in a few weeks, and we had a couple great experiences in the meantime. And I want to cover them up, right? So other than being sick, sorry for quality of my voice. Maybe better. All right, so hopefully we get a couple people on, and please do chat. I know that Sandy's online right now. That's about it. We had another person, but so one of the things I'd like to bring up. Oh yeah. So Sandy and I went to New Orleans. New Orleans is pretty awesome. Got to admit, it was a trip of my lifetime. You know what? Lots of walking around. We probably walked 15, 20 kilometers a day. Can't say I lost any weight because the food's really great down there, and you just keep on eating and eating and eating and eating. And I'll tell you something. No, as far as the whole most haunted town in the United States and whatever, you know, we were in a hotel that Marie Laveau had. That was that Voodoo Queen. This was a residence that she had for her guests. Supposedly, hey, it's supposedly one of the most haunted places in New Orleans. Yeah, never felt the thing. Gotta be honest with you, the entire time didn't feel the thing. We did a few haunted style tours and this and that. Never felt the thing. So, you know, we didn't investigate down there. Originally, we were going to hook up with a gentleman from a TV show. It was based down there. That didn't happen, but that's okay because I got to be honest with you. It was really nice just doing our own thing. So we're going to go back. I did not enjoy Hurricane Nate. We were the last flight to leave the airport and realized that nothing really happened. But the racing in between airports and them threatening to close the airport and having to find emergency shelter and the curfew starting and yada, 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 all right when we were trying to get out of town, wasn't a lot of fun. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Sandy downstairs. Hello, one other person that happens to be watching right now. So we got three of my team members online. Who would the other person be? Can you put a hello down there? Tell me where you are, where you're from. We got 5 watching now. That's excellent. Please do make yourself known. There's a chat board there. Now I can tell you our next trip. Oh, pardon me. I also learned, by the way, how bad airport layovers can be if they're too short. And our next trip is going to Kansas. We're going to go visit our friends at the Wichita Paranormal, and we're going to go visit our friends down at the River Valley Paranormal. I know I had neither of those names completely full, but that's what you're going to get right now out of me. We're going to enjoy that very much, but it looks like we have like a 16-minute layover. Hey, John, a 16-minute layover in Denver, so that's not going to happen. Enough of the Amazing Race. Got to be honest with you, that wasn't a lot of fun. And John, thank you very much for the case that you sent off to us. Of course, we had it done. We're working on that production. Shan's going over the evidence right now as we speak. So you know, that's a positive thing. If I'm blowing in and out right now on internet, I can tell you it's because Roger sucks, and we've been having problems with our internet connectivity. Yeah, no, it really was a great case from what I hear. I wasn't there, John. I had somebody else. Believe it or not, I decided me and Sandy were not going to go on a case, and we did it up. We had a guest that was supposed to come, but you know, sometimes guests don't fulfill. Matter of fact, though, we do have a guest up in the Ottawa Valley named Tanya Vullins. She's been messaging me some, and I've got the opportunity for her. I want to see if she can meet up with Carolyn in the next couple of weeks and you know, take on that new guest role. I think we've got opportunities coming in the future, do a bit more focus up in the Ottawa Valley. As I've spoken to my team actually in our recent meeting, I'm going to digress a bit. We're actually going to focus maybe a little bit more on commercial work. And you know, vet the housing. We're going to do houses, but we've got to definitely, obviously, see, because we're traveling 6 and 7 hours. The only problem is we spoke about house cases before. You know, we travel to Windsor, right, from where we are, and then we're there 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, you know, they want to know how long we're going to be there, and then they shut the door and we're gone. Right? Well, hey, we're here to do research, and sometimes this research isn't done in 90 minutes or 2 hours. Sometimes, you know, the case should be done in 2 hours, but whatever. So it's been a pretty good week. A lot of stuff off my shoulders. Sandy and I bought an RV. We bought a trailer. So we're now going to be semi-retired on weekends come the summer. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy about that. You know what? I don't want to wait till I'm 65 to enjoy this. I'm 47 now. I thought it would be a good opportunity to enjoy it now, before I'm broke and dead. So, all right. So we're going to go on to the next little thing. You know, we just got back from Ashmore Estates. So Ashmore is like a old poor farm, and I don't have the video footage. You can go check it out on our page. What we need to have right off the bat, we're going to talk a little bit about evidence. This place is had good evidence before. We got, okay, like in the room, I remember Sandy was asking with Mike, they were like, you know, can you play the piano? And we actually managed to get audio of piano being played. Not where the piano is, but in another room somewhere. Now, one of the great things about this particular case, we got 2 more piano hits. Not in the piano room. We had a static audio there, and we got the piano. We got the piano twice. Okay, very, very clear. So that's great to stabilize that kind of evidence. What was even more almost nauseating was the fact that on 4 different occasions over about a 3-hour period of time, we got children playing loud and calling names. And when I know that a lot of us paranormal types, we tend to like, you'll hear like this. Like if you're watching Kindred Spirits or something, you'll hear, and you know, all of a sudden that's, oh my God, he's crying for help. No, I mean like full out, you know, no, and hey, and then one of the greatest things was there was a child that died there. It's documented in the newspapers named Alma, and you have a child being called out, Alma. So it's really neat. Wait till you hear it. It doesn't. It is a true, and I get really picky with classifications of EVP. It is a 1A EVP. Okay, A, the letter. It has absolutely complete contextual classification to what we're doing. 1, no amplification, no modification, no clarification. It stands on its own. It is eerie. It is really, 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 really almost upsetting to hear. I can't play it yet because obviously, you know, what we're going to do, we're going to try and debunk it. But if anybody has seen the video, right? So this video, our past video, watch the drone fly around. That's my drone that I ended up clipping a tree and it flew into Lake Ontario. Thank you, goodbye drone. Anyway, that drone, when I still had it, there is a farm nearby. I mean, like this is in the middle of Illinois. There's nothing. There's just a farm, and that farm is probably 600 meters down the road. I believe that these, if we're going by timeline proper, this is at night, and he's got 2 and 5 and 7-year-olds, but they're louder than our voice, so the numbers don't go together. You know what I mean? Unless they'd have to be playing in the building while we were there for 2.5 hours. So Robin was there for a great period of time as well. So I'm really interested to see that. I'm a bit of a skeptic, frankly, and somehow I think they're going to get debunked, but damn it, I hope they don't, because that would be the most obnoxious evidence we've ever received. And I'm really, really excited for that. I really am. And we had a lot of audio to go over. So now beyond that, so we're going to continue on when it comes to talking about, oh, you know, only 9 minutes in and I'm actually almost done my whole spiel. So now this is where we're going to have to get into talking, guys. So I've been working with three instruments, okay? Boo Bear, EDI, and the STS/SLS, whatever you want to call it. These are 3 items that are not tried, true, and tested. these are 3 items that are really popular these days, right? Like these are the it things, and I guess maybe I decided that I'm going to do some work with them just to see. There are things I hate. I'm not really overly fond of the Equivox, and I'm not fond of SB7. I have worked with them. I'm not going to work with them. Same as Ovulus. I don't bother with it because it's some randomness to it. Now, what I find with these 3 items is I try not to do what everybody else does. Boo Bear. I've now watched a collection of videos where people are using Boo Bear, and they're literally. Now I've caught my guys trying this too, but where they're literally conversing with Boo Bear, right? Boo Bear has got a selection of things to say. Okay, and you're right, John. Boo Bear has got a K2 up its butt, basically. It's got a few things to say here and there. I'm not going to pull it out. I don't really care. You know what? If it hears vibration, so if it hears it walking or it hears a voice, it's going to notice that there's a voice there. So it's got audio receptors. That tickles. Whatever. I mean, the temperature. Are you making it cold here? All right, temperature with different people. Warm people in the room are naturally going to make it warmer. Okay, so there's basically a millimeter in there, K2, whatever you want to call it. It's got some stuff in it, right? And it's just answering based on its surroundings, right? So when people actually think, and I watched this on Kindred Spirits? It was one of the other shows anyway. And I'll pick on the shows because that's what people watch. People watch these shows. Oh my God, that's how we do it. And they were literally like, the bear was like, oh, I'm cold now, or some shit that it says. Are you sure you're cold? Is it is that you? Are you with us? Stop it. Stop it. You look silly now. So one of the things as an investigator you need to know is that every now and then there are devices that we have that do not mean we have to be there. They actually help investigate when we're not there. So I really think what's important when it comes to Boo Bear is that Boo Bear is an isolation tool. This is what I've kind of figured out through my testing. Boo Bear is a type of tool you put in a room with a static cam and like a device that measures shit next to it and an audio. And leave it be. All right? It's kind of like an animated DVR. It's going to investigate for you. All right? Yes, I agree with you, John. Now I'm starting to think we're going to start doing more investigations just with, 1 or 2 of us and the Boo Bear. You don't have to feed it. But the only problem is, though, when you're on a road trip, John, it doesn't help out paying for gas. But you can sleep with it. It's okay. I mean, me and Sandy sleep in bed at a hotel. It can sleep in between us. That's something I can't say for a lot of the other team members. So, the EDI is the next thing. Jesus Murphy, if I keep seeing people use EDI, then walk around with EDI. Okay, so, you know what? You're just going to have to sit there and listen to me rant for a second. Never mind. Freak. Okay, never mind. It's in my cases. That was sporadic. So the EDI, a little tiny box, right? So it's got a geophone in it. It's got a K2 in it. It's got I don't know, speedometer, everything else. It's got like 9 different things, right? So the way that this thing's used, it really has to be used. Is the way at least we use it. I try desperately to keep the integrity of things. It records too, although I got to be honest with you, I am like a technical moron. For some reason, I put the card in this thing, I press record, and it never records. But then again, in essence, I don't know that it would ever mean anything to me, because if I looked at it after the fact, went, oh, really, at 2122, we had a 0.3 kilopascal rise. It means nothing to me. I'm not a scientist, right? I'm not doing an investigation like one house investigated over 35 times. So it doesn't have it, the long-term effects can't be measured, right? So the idea is you're supposed to put the EDI down somewhere where there's claims. It stays static, right? Put a camera in front of it so you can monitor it or tape it. Like I take a little action cam, like a GoPro, and I tape it, and it'll go over the period of an hour. And what I'll do is I'll see whether the temperature goes up or whatever, but in a static point. Issue being is that, remember, if you're walking around with this EDI, well, guess what's going to happen? The temperature's going to go up. You're breathing on the damn thing. You're standing there. There's a bunch of people around you. The geophone's going to go off, and certain forms of of EMF are going to go up, right? So the idea is that it's not a K2 meter. It's not a millimeter. It's not something you can bring with you, place on a table. It is something that really has to stay there, like Boo Bear. So I've been using Boo Bear and EDI kind of in conjunction with each other, place them together. One talks and looks cute, and one kind of reports back on all the details. I take my little action camera, I put it in front because it'll focus on the lit LED stuff. And Bob's your uncle, right? Got to be honest with you. Well, Dan wouldn't type anything legible anyway, Kathy. It's okay. The thing is here is they're great. They're wonderful. I don't know how long I'm going to bother with them. But you know what? Together they were $300 US. So I'm going to use them for a little while for sure. What I'm a little bit more apt at these days, and this is more apt as in like testing, trying to fail it, seeing why it would work. Okay, is the Kinect thing, STS, SLS, skeletal tracking system. I don't know what the hell else they call it. They call it everything, right? It's the Kinect thing. Now, there's a couple variables you guys all have to take in consideration. I'm speaking to paranormal investigators, okay? So, and I'm going to go into one thing that's been annoying me, and I'm going to talk about somebody. So the way we use STS, all right, is static, all right? So the STS, or the Kinect, has got algorithms. Its programs they're designed to analyze an area, shower it with like little fingers of UV or IR, and pick out something. Its program is designed to say, oh, there's a body. Now let's design it. And it's going to show that as a body, right? So something that's like a, I don't know, if I put my arm there, you're not just going to see an arm in the middle of nothing. Okay, so if it's pointed at my arm and I stick my arm through the door, it'll come up like a body, and it'll get that stupid body doing this stuff, right? So now, so if it's static, you got to make sure it is against. Yeah, I'm just about to bring that up. So it's against, like say an area where there are nothing, like you don't want curtains. Like if I like this here. If I had an STS pointed at that would all of a sudden you'd have a body dangling from the ceiling. It's amazing that they're always dangling from the ceiling. Okay, so you got to make sure it's not reflective surfaces, electrical surfaces, whatever surfaces. Now it also depends on which particular unit this is. Sandy pointed this out, but the Xbox Kinect is good for 2. Okay, so if 2 people are playing, pick up 2 people. Stick on, because right, so they're next to each other. But the Xbox One can pick up multiple people up to 6. Now that means that algorithm to that program is firing off a million little fingers and is trying to detect anything that could be human. And it's going to show it as such. Something under a table. Could it be a rat? Whatever. Human. Some heat source. Human. Reflective source. Human. Moving chair. Human. Whatever. I don't care what it is. So if you're going to do this, you got to kind of set it up. You got to set it up for failure, test it as if it can get failed, and then you've got to use it so that you're like, say, like when we were at Ashmore, I had it where it was pointed at Carolyn. We were doing the Creutzfeldt test, so we were doing the test where your ears and eyes, everything's blocked off, right? She's talking to the camera. I'm down the hallway. It's just pointed at her. Okay, so it shows her. It shows her. When she stops moving, it kind of calms down and goes off, but you know that it's her. I tested it by walking into the scene when Carolyn didn't know I was there. And it showed me. Okay, and I do the same thing. I get the little action cam and it videotapes. I also do isolation testing with this thing. I'll leave it in the room. Nothing in the room. Okay, I have just the regular Xbox, not the mine only gets 2. So and I'll shine it in front of a room and leave it there, and leave it for hours, right? Okay, so therefore there's nothing walking in front of it. Okay, because it always seems to only be when people are there. Think about that. Now, we'll say I got to appreciate Ron Knowles for building me this unit from RLC Paranormal, because I can't seem to foul my unit, which is good. We are working on it. I will try, and I will try, and I will try. Now, I will say one of the biggest trends that's happening in the TV shows now, there's 2 things. It used to be FLIR, right? It used to be FLIR. You walk around with FLIR. Most of the people don't know how to use FLIR. Most people aren't trained to use it, but whatever. And then it was like this cool little thing where it boxed you out. Oh, look. And then there's this connecting. Well, now I've seen people using mobile units, walking around with it. Basically, what you're creating is fallibility. Because as you're walking around, those little algorithms, those programs, are just going, holy shit, holy hell. And it's looking for things to grab onto. Anything reflective. So, it's really kind of annoying to watch that, man. Because I'm looking at it going like, you're moving the thing around, which means every single microsecond that you're moving, it's got an entirely... If you take a picture with IR, you'll know that there's like a million little dots around the room. So if you could imagine now using this unit with an Xbox One, so it'll go for 6. It's got like 3 million frays of light out there looking for something. Every crook and cranny in that room will turn out to be something. You ever noticed that it's always something up? Like it's always up in the sky. It's always up. Like I've never seen so many hauntings where somebody is a dancing freak touching a ceiling. Okay, so one of the things I did see, I watched a video, and I watched it the other night on Kindred Spirits, and it drove me batshit to watch that. I got to be honest with you. I watch all these shows. I watch these shows, you know why? Because I watch them to torture myself, and so that I can yell at the TV. And you know what? Every one of us does it too. We pick a show, we watch it, and we yell. So anyway, I'm not buying it either. It makes me chuckle. It really does. How people are using this. So here's how we go. I found a video today that made me just freak out. I don't want to call this person out, but I already did. Look, when it comes to Huff Paranormal, I don't agree with everything. Like these Wonder Box and all this and that. These things that just don't make any kind of sense. But they're popular. They're in, right? You know, he's made his thing. And this particular instrument he's got set up. He's not using it nicely. I got to be honest with you, I had a bit more respect for him until he went to Las Vegas and did the thing. So there you go. It's for the Xbox 360. So he went down to Vegas after the shooting happened down there and got the machine out, and he was talking to all the people that had died there. Before that, we know when the Constantinos, there was the murder-suicide, he talked to them. I thought it was pretty tasteless. I got to be honest with you. So, tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with what they did, okay, what he did, and then we're going to talk about it, all right? And we're going to go over that. So, let's see if I remember how to do all this. So I'm going to mute me.
I might be able to see you with this device. If you want to show up, I am feeling a presence, but I'm not seeing one just yet. So what I'm going to do is stand over here in the corner and ask that if you can show up by my table over there in front of me where I'm doing the session. If you can show up over there on the table. There are a lot of you here. I'm feeling a presence big time, so I know someone's here. You can also talk, and I'll possibly hear you. What would be really cool is if you sat or stood on the table itself, or even the chair over there on the left. If you can do that, show yourself. I know it takes energy. Hey, you're on the chair. Didn't I just ask you to go on the chair?
I mean, right there you can see.
Hi.
It goes. It's always on a chair. Oop,
Okay,
there it goes.
So you did it. I appreciate it.
We're
I
gonna move
know
around
that
a
it
little
takes
bit,
energy
right?
because in a ghost box session a few weeks ago, you told me it takes
So yeah,
energy to do
very
this.
very frustrating right
And
now.
it's not that easy. So I'm going to record here
Few minutes
for another
later.
minute. If you want to show up one more time, you can, but you don't have to. Nothing I ask is anything. It's not demands. It's just help, so it can help
Put
me
your
and
hand
you
out
both.
now. So what we're going to do
Here's
is
my
we're going to
hand.
trigger those beams.
If you want to take my hand, you can
We're
as
going
well.
to trigger it. There's a cue happening.
I'm feeling you. I don't know if this picks you up
Oh,
automatically every time.
oh look,
There you are.
that same little
Right
guy.
on my fingertips.
Now
Holy
we're dancing
cow.
on his hand. You can feel the
Now,
energy.
I'm aware that you're probably
realize
not
that is
dancing,
exactly
but
what
you
the chair
look
was.
like it.
Oh my
A
god.
lot of people think that you're dancing, and you're actually on my hand.
I can't even play that anymore. I want to puke. All right, so you know what? So the second thing happened right there. Of course, he's going to elicit a response. He wasn't getting what he wanted, and he did it. So one of the things he had commented on later on, because you know, some people viralize that, and you know, and they say, well, you know, it's amazing that you know it happened both times. And they said it must be crap. So he says, you know what? I did it 6 times, and something happened. Every single time, that means something has to be happening. Yes, what it means is that you set up the perfect storm, right? It's when it doesn't happen every single time. You have to create your own algorithm. You have to test it 15 times and see why did it work 4 out of 15 times. That's the scientific method, right? This is not bullshit. What we do, you know, is we try to use pragmatic methods and logical means to come to a conclusion that we can offer a client, right? And this is based off of logic, you know. So, to be honest with you guys, not really overly crazy about this. Certainly not as it's being used like that. When it's being used on a trigger, I think it's incredibly fallible. This is something that, by virtue, because of what it does, you know, it's got to be tripoded. Now, the idea too was also is why will it work? Okay, well, it will work because it's an electronic form of something that picks up something, right? So if you have that in an area that has properly, you know, non-biased surfaces in the back, and it should work. It should. What should happen is you use it 6 times out of 10 and nothing happens. And then you might get a semi-response. And then you get one great response, right? But what this is happening is he's saying this is every time I ask, something comes. Well, and it's always going to look like a human form, and it's always going to look like it's waving. All right, it's just what it is. All right, it's kind of like orbs. People see orbs and they lose their mind, and we all know what the real explanation is. But there's going to be people out there that are going to decide themselves, no, that orb has a face in it. That orb is moving way too fast for dust. That can't be a bug. It's not shaped like one. That orb is a different color. We've all heard it, right? And some people believe and some people don't. And you know, we all know it's not a ghost, but some people have to believe. So some people that are out there right now, as an investigator, are going to see this, and they're K2. They're going to base the case off the K2, and because they want instant results. That's what it's going to be. Hey, look, I had my first couple cases, and I pretty much guarantee that almost every single paranormal investigator got orbs and were like, "Whoa, what the hell? I've never seen that before." First time they used night vision. It's the way it goes. It's whether you change, right? You have to have your educational couple. Go look at our first few videos. We lost our mind at some pretty weak stuff, but that's all about changing and becoming more responsible as a team. It is what it is, right? So. Anyway, so that being said, I'll give myself a couple minutes to go on about mediums. I probably get 7 emails a week about people that are sensitive, and they want me to have them on my team because they're sensitive, and they should be investigating. I want you to understand something. I'm not against sensitives. I grew up in Hope Spiritualist Church. I was around sensitives. I got all my training in that, but I can also smell out a charlatan, which everybody seems to be a medium. Everybody's sensitive. Everybody's sensitive to a degree, I guess. You know what? I'm sensitive. I cry once in a while at bad movies. But I find, unfortunately, that I have yet, except for Denala Robertson, a few select others, really met a medium that doesn't take over the whole situation. On an investigation, it just becomes about their views and all the people that they're seeing. And I got to be honest with you, I think in the next couple weeks, I'm going to do a case where I'm going to be a medium, okay? And I'm going to own it. I'm going to do what everybody else does, and I'm going to give a reading to somebody and all that. And I'm going to come up with information that there's no way I could have ever known, because I'm really good at deducing logic. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to tell someone's fortune, frankly. I even had my fortune told when we were in New Orleans. I paid $20 for a tarot card reader, which was okay. I was entertained by it, so $20 was worth it. But she basically told me everything that she could tell to every single person that came to see her that day. So I'm not sure how I feel about mediums. People don't seem to understand the difference between psychics and mediums either. Psychics, mediums, sensitives, whatever. There actually is a difference. I don't know if anybody out there really uses them. Unfortunately, I get a lot of crap. I get a lot of messages being sent to me that because we don't use mediums, well, we're not helping people. I'm not there to get rid of your ghosts. Okay, my team isn't. No team in the country can say they can get rid of your ghost. If they do, they're lying to you. If they charge you, they're lying to you, and they're scum. You know, I'm not. I can't get rid of your ghost because we don't know that ghosts exist. You know, this is why I don't get out so lately. I'm watching a whole bunch of teams doing smudging, and I got to be honest with you. Like, I don't know anything about shamanic wisdom. I don't know anything about native religion. I do not. So I don't know. I would have to ask if is people that are non-indigenous, does it offend indigenous people if non-indigenous people are doing native rites? And then my other concern is if you're doing this at, say, this seems to be the end thing to do. Okay, you know, I've seen it now on like 15 different investigations from people. But the people that they're investigating are of different religious backgrounds. You could have a Catholic, you could have a Jew, you could have this or that. Why are you not using a Jewish rite or a Catholic rite or whatever? So I'm really unsure about that. Like, you know, I mean, I can appreciate, and the other problem is too is we don't know if it works. Again, not being rude. That's faith versus logic, right? That's not me trying to offend anybody. You know, I just being honest. I can say to you with impunity that I've had a really hard time over the years lining myself up with people that I trust 100%. Joni's done some work with us. I really enjoy her company, and I think she's really talented, like Joni. But in the same respect, she's a lot like a regular medium in the way that their path and what they're doing will often become more than what we're doing as a whole, and sometimes that can butt heads, right? And I'm really a bit of a stickler for it because I've grown up around it. Yeah, I agree with you, John. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to have that person. Unfortunately, like I said, when we do an investigation, you got to know that everybody we go see seems to have this dramatic thing. Like, they don't want to be scared. They don't want to have a ghost in their home, but they want us to show up as if this was going to be a TV show. They want the war of the worlds to happen while we're there. And then they seem so upset when we leave. But when we bring a medium along, of course, the medium will walk around the house and say, you have a portal? All the houses seem to have a portal. Unfortunately, there's where I get nasty with the mediums. I can't tell you how many cases I've gone into. You know, a medium's been there before us, or a sensitive, or whatever, and has told them that they have a portal, or I don't know, for some reason, the word cervix came to my head, but that's not it. But you get the idea, right? You know, they've got these, you know, hole to hell in their house, and they've got, it's always in the basement, and there's always somebody with period dress, all right? Always. There's always period dress, and they're always from the 20s or the early 1800s. There's always, it's never like 1973, right? Yeah, it's always in the basement, and I don't know what to say. Your house is a place where they all come to. Your place is built on an Indian burial ground. That's every place. Matter of fact, actually, there's a lot of truth to that. We did a case in Oshwaken. We were invited to do a case in Oshwaken, and I sat down with the Hills down there, and he said one of the biggest laugh right now when you hear all these shows talking about your home being built on Indian burial ground, and he kind of says you got to get your mind out of the whole Christian way of burial. It's not like an Indian burial ground, native burial ground, indigenous burial ground. I don't want to offend anybody. If I do, whatever, sorry. They sort of got buried where? You know what I mean? So, so essentially, I guess everywhere is an Indian burial ground. But you know, like there are some that were a little different, like say up at Serpent Mounds, where they bury them sort of in a serpent form. That's both creepy and kind of cool. But you see it, right? So there's some thought to that. I'm going to do an entire show based on what it is we hear all the time as investigators. You're right. Look, I mean, a nurse. We do hospitals like what we do at CHAPS. You know, we do a lot of prisons and we do a lot of like hospitals and theaters, right? So there's always an angry maintenance man. Always. There is always a projectionist in the theater. Always. There is always a nurse that got raped by a doctor, and a doctor who killed himself, and and a nurse who was pregnant and killed herself. Good God. There's like this roving band of nurses hanging all over the place. There must be hundreds and thousands of nurses. Sometimes the prisons is the same damn thing, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some prisons where the stories have got to be right. We're in Moundsville in West Virginia. Dude, that place is a holy hell of horrors in there. I love it. I'm telling you, though, a medium, you're right. I agree with you, Sandy, right there. It'd be nice to have a medium come to a case and come out and go, I don't feel a thing. Which is why I'm going to bank it on Joni. Or Joni. Sorry, Joni. We did a case, and she came out and said, I don't feel anything there. I think it's the people. Thank God a medium finally said something like that. And I appreciated that, and she got my respect for that. But to me, it's still working with mediums is a little. There's so many out there, man. Like we did one at the Coburg jail. Do you know what? We did an investigation with cops at Coburg jail, and they had a medium there. It was a thing we did, and I said, okay, you know what? Me and the 5 other guys, we're going to sit down and get readings. And I got to be honest with you, I got sucked right in. I'm like sitting there listening to this lady. She's going on about things. I'm like, holy crap, you're really good. I was really, really getting. I still have the tape. You're really, really great. And then you know what? We sat down with the 5 guys, and she said the same damn thing to all 5 of us, and we all owned it. You know, how embarrassing was that? Especially being a pragmatic team, but we don't believe in that stuff, and we basically got proven why. So, yeah. Oh, and I think I know that member. Pretty sure we've worked together. Hey, oh, there you go. I was mentioning Joni, and there she is, right there. But so we're having a discussion about mediums, actually, Joni, in regards to the needs or wants of us with mediums. Like up and down. There are certain cases I think they're valuable to. I know that Joni's got a lot of crap going on in her life right now, so we had sort of like didn't part ways. We sort of took a break. But you know what? I would have her out to a case. There's certainly some cases, however, where naturally a medium is very emotional, empathetic, right? Like they're going to display their feelings. In some cases, I don't think require it. There's some cases where it's where we just want to get in and do our job, right? So it's fine. You know what I mean? There are definitely cases like that. So anyway, not to be thought. If there's any kind of topic anybody wants to bring up, those are my thoughts on it. I'm guessing the sickness wasn't too bad tonight. I still feel like hell, and I got to thank my wife, Sandy, for that. Your fault, Sandy, and maybe you'll get this back. Anything anybody wants to discuss? We've got some upkeep. We don't have any upcoming cases. Yeah. Yep. Agreed. It's not evidence. No. We don't take noises or affectations, things that happen, personal experiences, evidence either. So yeah, I mean, yes. Thanks, John, for reminding everybody. So I had a challenge going there forever. We were trying to get 5,000 likes. We were literally at 4,993 likes, I think, for like the last year. So I challenged Carolyn, and damn it all, she screwed it up for me. And now it's over 5,000. Fuse kind of stopped talking, so I'll get back into that soon. We don't have anything scheduled right now until we have a talk at the Renfrew. It's not me, it's Carolyn doing that up at the Renfrew Library on the 27th. And then beyond that, I'm doing some work with the CBC and Ryerson on this Friday, but that's just like an interview. They've got a TV show going on. Something coming up with Tony Babcock on Bell 1 as well. But otherwise, I'm doing Picton in March. So everything's kind of gotten quiet for us, and that's okay right now because we've got like 7 cases in post-production. But yeah, got to get a tattoo. Got to get a tattoo. See? Right. Okay, so I've got 1. I got 2. So now I got to get another one. All right. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, and I'm kind of a wimp. I got to be really careful about where I go and the size of it. I'm diabetic, so I don't want to have, a whole lot of bleeding going on. If you remember years ago when I was going to rip out my chest hair for 1,000 likes, and we ended up just taking a pair of pliers and tearing out some. So I'm still willing to hurt myself for this. I really am. I really love what I do, and I love my fans, and I love my team. So I'm willing to humiliate myself. I promise. And then don't worry, it'll get to 17. Good God, freak. My wife has 9, so she's more manly than I am too. So, with that being said, guys, 40 minutes in, I want you to go back and enjoy the night with your family. And yeah, so hopefully we'll have one of these coming up pretty soon. Peace.